What's up, gamers? We back again for some more Trove 35k, and today we're going to be covering the Pirate Captain in terms of the 35k series. I'm sorry that he's basically 36k. Kind of. I'm a little bit off, and I'm not exactly sure what I could do to end up increasing that. No, I got like full crystal 4. Probably like, is it my class gem that's lacking? I bet you it's my class gem that's lacking. Yeah, there you go. So it's not at 120,000% or anything like that, but let's just increase it a little bit, make them a little bit stronger, just because I'm kind of greedy for that power rank. Never mind, it's just not gonna happen. Oh well, who cares? Anyways, sorry these have been inconsistent. You guys know how it is. It's actually very time consuming to make these videos. Not this portion. This portion of making the video is fine. It's swapping all of my gems on all my classes and trying to get all of my gear all set up and managed and stuff like that, because I obviously only have a certain set amount of gear and items that I'm swapping between certain characters, and you'll notice that my power rank on some of these characters is actually dwindling fast because I'm taking my gems off and I'm leaving them off because I don't want to waste I don't want to waste so many regeminators, because my god, dude, like I've already almost spent 100k cubits just alone on like swapping these. Well, probably not 100k, but well, no, it's probably pretty close to that. I think so. Anyways, today we're going to be focusing on Pirate Captain. Before we get started with that, though, I gotta let you know, if you are new to Trove, use that sign up link down in the description. Would you kindly? And then anything you end up buying out of the cash shop, I'll make a percentage of that sale. It's an awesome way you can support me by literally just playing the game, doing things that you would otherwise be doing and buying. I'm just setting up my timer here because what we're going to be doing today, same as all these videos, is basically we're showing off, okay, how good is this character at the full end game? How good are they going to end up being in the geode surface U10 and in the delves? So we're going to end up spending about 5 minutes doing dungeons and stuff, just so you guys can kind of get an example. If you want to know the build that I'm rocking, I've already got like an updated tutorial talking about my basically my most recent class tutorials talk about the same builds that I'm using today, save for maybe like 1 or 2 things that I've swapped just because of inconsistencies. But anyways, we're gonna be rocking Puck just because I don't really see a reason to have the cooldown ally or Raptor Berserker, I mean, because we're gonna be using the Knight subclass ability so that we can have the movement speed of the mounts, just because the problem, like one of the big problems with Pirate Captain is he's super duper slow. The other thing too is that my gear technically isn't 100% ideal. It's not going to matter so much in geode surface, but you'll have to keep this in mind later when we end up talking about the delves, because we've actually got movement speed on all of our gear, and ideally if you want to maximize your damage output for Pirate Captain, you are going to end up being affected obviously by attack speed. I'm noticing a lot of people are following me around. God, I hate this game sometimes. Not because you guys are following me around, because I'm in Do Not Disturb, and yet you guys can still follow me around. Like, seriously, dude, who designed this? You wouldn't think it's that big of a deal. Anyways, let's just start the timer and let's just go before everybody ends up attacking me. It wouldn't be such a big deal, except I'm trying to give you guys like some just numbers of, okay, can this character end up handling U10? Which anyone who mains Pirate Captain already knows. Yes, you most definitely can. Like, we've got the damage output. As you see, that was just our normal attacks, just our autos, which is pretty good. Like, he actually has a pretty decent amount of damage. I guess we don't need to be using Arcane, do we? I don't know if we necessarily need to be using this guy, but I guess it does work out. So if I'm, of course, get out of here, dude. If I'm, of course, you know, just popping down my ult, popping down all my turrets and stuff, this is clearly all me. I mean, it's just a kill 30 enemy, so it's not that big a deal. Can you guys like get a life? Like, I'm trying to do something here, please, God. Just one of those days, isn't it? And then of course when I rejoin the world, I'm in the exact same spot. Whatever, you know what? We tricked them. They went that way, we're going this way. So the thing is, with the Pirate Captain, obviously you can handle U10 no problem. Like, he's going to be fine. He's not going to turn any heads. Like, nobody's gonna be like, oh my god, this character's the strongest. Like, he's not very fast when it comes to dungeon grinding. He's got some of the highest damage in the game. But in order to actually have that pulled off, you have to have very specific parameters happen. So throwing down your ult, throwing down your turrets and all that stuff. And as you can see, you know, we can literally just leave our turrets to do all the business. That's the thing that's so sweet about him. But also one of the reasons why I personally shy away from this character, because Pirate Captain can have some of the highest damage in the game, because if you actually drink enough flasks to reset your cooldown, you can pop your ult twice. And that you can just keep doing that like over and over again, basically, so long as you, you know, still have your ult going on cooldown. But the thing is that that is a very, very rare instance of having your ult down multiple times in order to optimize your damage. And on top of that, the big reason why I shy away, again, from Pirate Captain is not only is he a minion character, which minion characters already can end up being a lot of trouble just because minions in general can end up being very unreliable. You know, a rare instance of a character that actually is very good with minions is somebody like the Tomb Raiser, just because your little babies do so much damage. But the thing is that, you know, with these minions, not only do they have the inconsistency of attacking whatever target they choose, they're also ranged, which means that they really are going to be very, very limited because their shots aren't going to phase through enemies. So one of the biggest complaints that I have with a lot of the ranged characters in the game, Jesus Christ today, oh my God, is that, like, if you play somebody like, you know, I already have a video talking about like Gunslinger or Dino Tamer and stuff like that. And the problem with ranged characters in this game is that your shots don't phase through enemies. Whereas if you're a melee character and you have a group of enemies in front of you, you end up doing a melee attack, it's going to damage all of those enemies. When you're a ranged character, you're probably going to hit like one or two of those enemies. It single-handedly is what keeps, like, look at this. That's a prime example of what happens when you're using like ranged actually no, this is just Trove being a laggy stupid mess today because it just doesn't want to cooperate. But my point being is that when we throw down our turret, it's just going to target whatever the heck it wants to target. Like, if I look at this, if I just leave my turret to do its business, or if I just leave my ult to do its business, obviously it's going to end up doing quite a bit of damage, or my ult can just not cast at all. But you can see that these shots kind of just go wherever they want, so they can miss. And that's kind of the big problem that I would say with Pirate Captain versus a lot of the other characters in the game, is just that is going to end up holding you back. And I'm not necessarily saying, you know, that you should avoid using Pirate Captain because of it or anything like that, guys. I'm most of all just trying to give you a realistic perspective of the reasons that I personally don't like Pirate Captain. That said, if you can stand that, and again, if you can put down like multiple ults and stuff like that, Pirate Captain can end up having some of the highest tiered damage in the game. He's kind of a character that not really many people talk about, just because in order to get that optimum amount of damage, you gotta do some very specific stuff. And then on top of that, it has to be single target. Because if you want to end up having the most damage output possible, you need to have all of your turrets focusing on one target, thus single target. Because otherwise, like, I remember lots of people talking about how Pirate Captain was one of the best characters to end up beating Dread, just because of the high damage output of having multiple turrets down and stuff like that, versus fighting a boss like Pinata God. This, of course, was back when Shadow Towers was relevant. It wouldn't end up being a good character for Pinata God, just because of the fact that you know, the Pinata God summons like so many minions and stuff like that. Good God, it's laggy today though. Yikes. I don't know what's happening. Well, either way, hopefully that was a good enough example of Pirate Captain in U10. So let's actually set up and get him ready to go into the Delves. All right, gamers. So here we are in the Delves at depth 127. So this is already going to end up being a pretty good, tough example of showing this character off. I mean, obviously, as with any of the characters in the Delves, the real, like, the real problem that we're trying to end up figuring out is how is the character going to handle themselves against the boss in the Delves, because normal enemies, as you can see, you know, we're absolutely fine. His normal attack obviously is going to end up being like, the thing that sucks about the Pirate Captain that's really weird is that his normal attack is almost better than his turrets, because his turrets have such a long wind-up punch. Because of course, as you're shooting enemies, you're getting doubloons, which is going to end up building up the damage or the attack speed of the turrets or something. I forget. I'm sorry. It's been years since I ended up playing Pirate Captain. But the funny thing is that despite the fact that it's been so long since I ended up actually even playing on these characters to actually do like damage and stuff, all of my knowledge still is retained because these characters haven't really changed. You know, like Pirate Captain hasn't gotten a rework or any changes since like long time ago. But you can see, you know, we already handle Delves just fine. Like as far as just the normal enemies are concerned, no problem whatsoever. I wasn't really expecting there to end up being a problem with the character outside of, as you can see, you know, when there's multiple enemies and they're all spread out because of the fact that this character just isn't really very fast, on top of the fact that, you know, he can't really target as many opponents as I had mentioned previously. So it works, but you're, again, like I said, you're not going to turn any heads with Pirate Captain. The other thing too is obviously, you know, being at depth 127, this is much stronger enemies than we've done with most of these other 35k videos, but Delves seems to just be random, dude. Like, I don't know why. I don't know what the parameters are to make a deeper portal, because I'll literally be on another character that has less power rank and ends up having you know, or more power rank actually, and ends up having like a much lower delve level end up going out. Like I what was it on Dino Tamer? I think I was at like, well, I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure like I was at, not necessarily on my Dino Tamer video, but my point is that I've been doing like depth 122, 123, so 127 is quite a jump, as you can see. But as I said, you know, we're already killing these enemies just fine. I don't actually have one of my mounts selected. I mean, I guess this is a good example to show you guys. This is a Pirate Captain with full movement speed gear. Is it impressive? No, it definitely isn't. Like, that's the thing, is you'll still be reliant on other characters to end up going through these areas faster. Let's also, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to swap Arcane because we need that rather than our minion, and we're going to keep the cooldown chromatic. Actually, is this cooldown? Yeah, that's cooldown. Good. Good. Because we're going to try and get multiple of our ult down at the same time so that we can end up handling this guy, if it would ever actually work. Let's do this. Throw down another ult. Consume more of our flask. Throw down another ult. Just so that we can have that optimum damage going out. And I mean, as you can see, the damage that we're outputting is really actually like good. Problem is that we're draining our flask like crazy. Obviously, you know, the enemy itself is going to end up doing a lot of damage to us because Pirate Captain doesn't really have any defensive capabilities outside of, you know, the fact that our number one is going to distract the enemy. So you do have more survivability than other characters, that's for sure. But Pirate Captain is kind of one of those characters, like I said, like when you have two of your ults going at the same time, it's kind of a burst situation, you know, where you get to do it for a very limited amount of time. But as you can see, Pirate Captain's damage is perfectly fine. You can actually main Pirate Captain doing whatever you want. I would actually suggest that Delves is probably better than doing U10, just because other characters are going to be faster. Because the thing about Trove is that literally, if you end up having these gems and having all of your gear on one character, you can just swap it to another character and be more efficient, right? Like, it ultimately depends on what you're going for. Like Pirate Captain, though you see we're doing fine as far as our damage is concerned in the delves and stuff, if we literally take all those gems and swap it to another character like Gunslinger, Tomb Raiser, or Draco or something, we're going to have more survivability and do more damage in the delves. Well, Pirate Captain's damage, to be fair, is probably pretty on point with the rest of them. But then again, if you want to have a character that's faster for U10, you would just end up taking all of the gear and swapping it over to Dino Tamer, because Dino Tamer is one of the faster characters in the game. But that's the thing, is you kind of get to pick and choose whichever character you enjoy, and that is the primary focus of these videos, is just to show you guys, you know, maybe you love the Pirate Captain, but you want to know how it handles the end game. And now you know that Pirate Captain's kind of in the middle. You know, you got the damage, but you don't really have the movement speed. And that's kind of the thing that makes the class lacking. That said, you have high enough damage that you can end up doing pretty much anything you want. Anyways, thanks for watching, gamers. Really appreciate it. Smash like, sub for more, buy the merch you want to support the channel, and have yourselves a fantastic day. Sayonara, and stay epic, gamers.